Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered, why is my butt getting flatter even though I stay active? If that sounds familiar, trust me, you are not alone. For a lot of adults over 50, the backside starts losing its shape, especially on the sides and upper area. What used to be round and lifted slowly goes flat, giving you those hip dips, that saggy look, or even a caved-in appearance in your jeans. Most folks blame getting older. Or they figure the fix is easy. Just do more glute exercises. But here is what nobody is telling you. You cannot rebuild your glutes if your pelvis is out of position. Especially the gluteus medius, the side glute muscle responsible for that fullness and roundness, simply cannot activate the way they are supposed to when your pelvic alignment is off, if your pelvis is tilted or rotated. And that happens to pretty much everyone with age and all that sitting. It basically shuts off your glutes' ability to fire, so it does not matter how many squats or bridges you crank out. The shape is not coming back, not until you fix the root of the problem. In this video, you are going to learn 2 simple, science-backed movements built specifically for adults over 50. The first one resets your pelvic alignment. The second builds real strength and fullness in the right glute muscles, fixing flatness from the inside out. And, hey, if you are watching this and you are over 50, I would love to get to know you a little better. Drop a comment below with your first name, your age, and where you are watching from. This is not just a video. It is a growing community of people choosing strength, balance, and better movement, one small step at a time. Most people think their glutes are flat because they have not done enough squats, or because they fell off their workout routine. But here is the thing almost nobody talks about. Even if you are exercising, your glutes will not activate properly if your pelvis is not aligned. Let us break that down. Your pelvis is the foundation of your entire lower body. Think of it like the control center for how your hips, spine, and glutes move together. When it is in a good position, your glute muscles can fire, grow, and stabilize the way they are meant to. But when it tilts too far forward, shifts to one side, or rotates slightly, all of which are super common after 50, it disrupts the connection between your brain and your glutes. And the tricky part, this misalignment is often subtle. You will not feel off. But what happens is your lower back and thighs end up doing the work your glutes should be doing. That leaves the glutes underused, underdeveloped, and eventually, basically switched off. That is why you can walk every day, do bridges, even hit the gym, and still notice your butt looks flat, especially on the sides. The muscle just is not in the right position to engage. A 2019 study in the Journal of Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy found that pelvic alignment directly affects how your glute muscles recruit and fire. In people with anterior pelvic tilt or a lateral shift to one side, which is incredibly common, glute activation was significantly reduced even when they were doing standard glute exercises. Another study from the American Council on Exercise highlighted that muscles can only strengthen effectively when the joints they work around are in proper alignment. Otherwise, your body defaults to compensations, training the wrong muscles, and locking in bad movement patterns. As we get older, we tend to sit more, move less, and unconsciously let our posture slide. Pelvic misalignment becomes more and more common, especially in women after menopause and in men with low core engagement. The result: glutes that do not just shrink, but actually disconnect from your movement. So before we can build the glutes, we have to reconnect them by restoring pelvic control and waking up the neural signals that tell those muscles to fire. That is exactly why the first exercise is not a strength move. It is a retraining movement to align your pelvis and lay the groundwork for glutes that actually work. Before you build your glutes, you need to realign their foundation. You have probably been told that fixing a flat butt means squeezing your glutes harder or just doing more bridges. But here is the reality. If your pelvis is out of position, your glutes will not activate no matter how hard you squeeze. That is why we start here, with the wall hinge and lateral shift. It is not a squat. It is not a stretch. It is a retraining drill that helps your brain find your glutes again, especially the ones that shape the sides of your hips. This movement realigns your pelvis into a neutral, centered position. It gently activates both the gluteus maximus and the gluteus medius, your side glute. It restores balance between your left and right hips and creates a stronger foundation for standing, walking, and any future glute work. Most importantly, it starts to undo what years of sitting have done: tight hip flexors, a tilted pelvis, and weak glute signals. When you shift your hips side to side in a controlled hinge position, you are recentering your pelvis over your base of support, teaching your core and glutes to work together, and waking up underused stabilizer muscles like the gluteus medius, deep rotators, and obliques. A 2021 study in physical therapy and sport found that low-load pelvic repositioning drills improved gluteal symmetry and recruitment in older adults in just 2 weeks. This is not about feeling the burn. It is about reconnecting your movement map so the right muscles can fire when you actually need them. Here is how to do it. Stand about 6 to 8 inches in front of a wall, facing away from it. Feet shoulder-width apart, toes turned in slightly to open up the back of the hips. Soft knees, not locked, arms relaxed. Place your hands gently on your hips. Now hinge at the hips. Push your butt back until it lightly taps the wall. Your torso will lean slightly forward, but keep your spine long and straight. From that position, shift your hips slightly to the left. You should feel your right glute start to engage. Shift back to center. Then shift slightly to the right. Feel that left glute kick in. Return to center, then slowly stand back up. That is 1 rep. Aim for 8 to 10 slow, controlled reps. Rest, then do 2 sets total. Think of it like gently rocking your pelvis side to side, not twisting your torso. Keep your weight balanced in both feet. Slow and controlled beats fast every single time. If balance is an issue, lightly rest your fingertips on a countertop or chair in front of you. This may feel like a small movement, but the impact is big. It is the difference between training your glutes in the right position or wasting your time reinforcing poor posture. Once your pelvis is centered and your glutes are firing again, you are ready to move on to something a little more dynamic. And that is exactly what comes next. Now that your pelvis is aligned, it is time to build strength and shape where it counts most. You have reconnected with your glutes. You have brought your pelvis back into a neutral, functional position. Now it is time to build shape, fullness, and control. Especially in that gluteus medius, the side glute muscle most responsible for making your butt look round instead of flat. That is where this second move comes in: the wall-facing squat with calf raise. This is not your typical gym squat. This is a posture-correcting, glute-shaping, balance-building movement that works with your body, not against it. This movement targets the gluteus medius more deeply than standard squats. It builds strength in your calves, hips, and core at the same time. It reinforces upright posture and pelvic control, and it improves balance, coordination, and real-world leg strength. Squatting while facing a wall forces you to maintain a tall spine, no collapsing forward, and it keeps your knees aligned with your hips rather than caving inward. It loads the posterior chain, especially the glute medius and the calves. Adding the calf raise at the bottom challenges your stabilizing muscles even more, which pays off big in balance and everyday function. A 2022 study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that integrated lower body movements with balance components improved both muscle tone and fall resilience in adults over 60. Even without any weights, in plain English. This move teaches your glutes to work in real life, where strength and balance go hand in hand. Here is how to do it. Stand facing a wall about 6 to 8 inches away. Feet slightly wider than your hips, toes angled out about 10 to 15 degrees. Place both hands lightly on the wall at shoulder height for support. Begin lowering into a squat. Chest up, knees tracking over your toes. Go as low as feels comfortable, ideally getting your thighs to about a 45 to 60 degree angle. You do not need to go all the way parallel. At the bottom of the squat, rise up onto your toes. Lift both heels. Engaging your calves and glutes, hold that top position for 1 to 2 seconds. Then slowly lower your heels and press through your feet to stand back up. Do 10 to 12 controlled reps. Rest and repeat for 2 to 3 sets. Stay tall. Do not let your face or your knees touch the wall. Keep your knees pushed slightly outward. That is what lights up the gluteus medius. Slow beats fast. You can hold the bottom position longer for an extra challenge. This move builds the kind of leg strength you actually use in daily life. Walking, getting up from a chair, stabilizing yourself when you lose your footing. It teaches your brain to fire the right muscles in the right order. Glutes first, not your knees or lower back. And it directly addresses those hip dips by challenging the gluteus medius where it counts. This movement is especially powerful when done right after the wall hinge shift, because now your pelvis is aligned and your glutes are fully accessible. Together, these two moves form a complete system. Restore alignment, rebuild strength and shape, reinforce balance and function. And you do not need weights, equipment, or a gym membership to do any of it. So here is the truth. Nobody told us when we were younger. You do not lose your glutes just because you age. You lose them because your body quietly, slowly, and predictably adapts to inactivity and misalignment. But now you know better. Fixing flat glutes is not about grinding out more reps or chasing soreness. It starts with reclaiming your foundation, your pelvis, your posture, your mind-muscle connection. Once that is in place, everything changes. Movements feel smoother, your stance feels stronger, and yes, your backside starts to look fuller, rounder, and more like yours again. But beyond the mirror, what you are really building is freedom. Freedom to move without pain. Freedom to walk, lift, climb, and catch yourself when balance goes. Freedom to trust your body again. You do not need a gym. You do not need fancy equipment. You just need intention, consistency, and a willingness to start small. So if you have been frustrated by a flat or sagging backside, even if you feel like you have tried everything, take this as your reminder. It is not too late, and it is not your fault. You just had not been shown the right path until now. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these two movements are you most excited to try? Or maybe you have already experienced what happens when your pelvic alignment changes. If so, tell us what shifted for you. Drop a comment below with your name, age, and where you are from. Let us build a supportive, smart, and strong community of people over 50 who flat out refuse to settle for decline. And if this video helped you, share it with someone you care about. Because stronger glutes are not just about how you look, they are about how fully you get to live.